Have you ever looked at someone else's life and wondered why everything seems to work out for them while you feel stuck? Maybe you've scrolled through social media and thought, why can't my life look like that? Or perhaps you've compared your success, your appearance, your career, or even your happiness to someone else and walked away feeling like you just weren't enough. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. The truth is, almost everyone compares themselves to others at some point. But when comparison becomes a habit, it quietly steals your confidence, your motivation, and even your happiness. Today, we're going to break that cycle. By the end of this video, you'll understand why comparison is so damaging. And more importantly, you'll learn practical strategies that can help you stop doing it for good. Before we dive in, take just a second to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. If you're serious about building confidence, improving your mindset, and becoming the best version of yourself, this channel is made for you. Every video is packed with practical advice you can actually use to transform your life. Now, let's get started.
Chapter 1. Why we compare ourselves. Comparing ourselves to other people is actually part of being human. Our brains naturally look around us to understand where we stand. Without comparison, it would be difficult to measure progress or recognize areas where we can improve. The problem isn't comparison itself. The problem is how we compare. Healthy comparison can inspire us to grow. Unhealthy comparison makes us feel like we'll never be good enough. Instead of motivating us, it creates frustration, jealousy, self-doubt, and disappointment. Over time, these negative emotions can seriously damage our self-esteem and even lead to anxiety or depression. If you constantly feel bitter whenever someone else succeeds, or if another person's achievements make you question your own worth, it's a sign that comparison has become unhealthy. The good news is that this habit can be changed, not overnight. There isn't a magical solution, but with consistent effort and the right mindset, you can train yourself to think differently until healthy thinking becomes second nature.
Chapter 2. Be honest about how you see yourself. Before you can change anything, you need to understand what's really happening inside your mind. Ask yourself a simple question. How do I honestly feel about myself? This isn't always an easy question to answer. Most people avoid it because it forces them to face uncomfortable truths. But avoiding the truth only keeps the cycle alive. If you're always comparing yourself to others, there's usually a deeper reason behind it. The comparison is only a symptom. The real issue often lies in how you see yourself. Take some time to write down your honest thoughts. What do you like about yourself? What do you criticize? When do you feel confident? When do you feel insecure? Don't judge your answers. Just be honest. Sometimes it also helps to talk with someone you trust, a close friend or family member who genuinely wants the best for you. They may notice strengths in you that you've completely overlooked. Remember, you're not trying to become perfect. You're simply trying to understand yourself better. And once you understand the pattern, you can start changing it.
Chapter 3. The hidden role of self-esteem. One of the biggest reasons people compare themselves to others is low self-esteem. Self-esteem is simply the opinion you have about yourself. Everyone has positive and negative thoughts. That's completely normal. The problem begins when the negative thoughts become much louder than the positive ones. If your inner voice constantly tells you that you're not attractive enough, not successful enough, not smart enough, or not talented enough, then every successful person you meet starts feeling like proof that you're failing. But that's an illusion. Low self-esteem doesn't allow you to see yourself clearly. Instead, it magnifies your weaknesses while ignoring your strengths. Imagine looking into a mirror that distorts your reflection. That's exactly what low self-esteem does to your mind. It convinces you that you're less capable than you really are. That's why building self-esteem isn't about becoming better than everyone else. It's about learning to recognize your own value without needing someone else to lose. Once you begin appreciating your own progress, comparison slowly loses its power over you.
Chapter 4. You're comparing your entire life to someone else's highlight reel. One of the biggest traps in modern life is believing that what you see is the whole story. It isn't. Every day, we're surrounded by carefully selected moments.
Social media is filled with vacations, promotions, expensive purchases, perfect relationships, fitness transformations, and smiling faces. But that's only a tiny fraction of reality. People naturally share their victories. They rarely share the sleepless nights, the failures, the anxiety, the rejection, or the moments when everything seems to fall apart. When you compare your everyday life to someone else's best moments, you're making an unfair comparison from the very beginning. Imagine watching a movie that only shows the happiest scenes. You'd think the characters never struggled. Real life doesn't work that way. Behind every success, there are setbacks. Behind every confident person, there are insecurities. Behind every achievement, there are countless failures that no one ever sees. The next time you catch yourself thinking, their life is perfect, remind yourself of one simple truth. You're only seeing what they choose to show you.
Chapter 5. Stop chasing perfection. Many people compare themselves because they believe they have to be perfect before they deserve happiness. But perfection doesn't exist. No matter how successful someone appears, they still have flaws. They still make mistakes. They still have fears. They still experience failure. Waiting until you're perfect before appreciating yourself is like waiting for the ocean to have no waves before going swimming. That day will never come. Growth isn't about becoming flawless. It's about becoming better than you were yesterday. Every mistake teaches something. Every setback builds experience. Every challenge strengthens your character. The people you admire didn't succeed because they were perfect. They succeeded because they kept moving, even when they weren't.
Chapter 6. Focus on your own journey. Life isn't a race where everyone starts at the same place. Some people begin with more opportunities. Others begin with more obstacles. Some discover their passion early. Others find it much later. Some succeed in their 20s. Others don't find success until their 40s, 50s, or even later. Different starting points create different timelines. So why compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20? Your journey belongs to you. The only meaningful comparison is between the person you were yesterday and the person you're becoming today. Ask yourself, have I learned something new? Have I become a little stronger? Have I improved, even by 1%? If the answer is yes, then you're moving forward. And that's what truly matters.
Chapter 7. Turn comparison into inspiration.
Seeing someone succeed doesn't have to make you feel worse. It can actually motivate you. Instead of asking, why are they better than me? Try asking, what can I learn from them? That single question changes everything. Successful people aren't proof that you're failing. They're proof that success is possible. Study their habits. Observe their discipline. Learn from their mindset. Adopt the lessons that fit your own life. Jealousy keeps you stuck. Curiosity helps you grow. Every person you admire has something valuable to teach you, if you're willing to learn instead of compete. Chapter 8. Practice gratitude every day. One of the fastest ways to reduce comparison is to focus on what you already have. When your attention is constantly fixed on what you lack, you'll always feel behind. But when you recognize what you already possess, your perspective begins to change. Take a few minutes every day to think about 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be extraordinary. It could be your health, your family, a close friend, a safe place to sleep, the opportunity to learn, the ability to improve. Gratitude doesn't ignore your goals. It simply reminds you that your life already contains value while you're working toward them. The more grateful you become, the less power comparison has over your emotions.
Chapter 9. Protect your mind. Your environment shapes your thinking more than you realize. If every day you're surrounded by content that makes you feel inadequate, eventually you'll begin believing that's who you are. Pay attention to what you consume. Who do you follow online? What kind of videos do you watch? Who influences your thinking? If certain accounts consistently leave you feeling anxious, jealous, or discouraged, don't be afraid to unfollow them. Protecting your mental health isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Instead, fill your environment with people and content that educate you, encourage you, and remind you that growth is possible. The voices you hear every day eventually become the voice inside your own mind. Choose them carefully.
Chapter 10. Celebrate your own progress. Most people only celebrate huge achievements. A promotion, a new business, a dream house, a major milestone. But life isn't built on giant moments. It's built on thousands of small victories. Every healthy decision, every new skill, every difficult conversation, every day you choose not to quit, those moments matter. When you ignore your progress, your brain assumes you're standing still. And if you believe you're standing still, you'll naturally look at everyone else and feel like they're moving faster. Instead, start recognizing your own wins. Keep a journal. Write down what you've accomplished each week. Even if the progress feels small, acknowledge it. Small improvements repeated consistently eventually create extraordinary results. The person you're becoming deserves just as much recognition as the destination you're chasing.
Chapter 11. Accept that everyone has different strengths. One of the biggest mistakes we make is assuming everyone should excel at the same things. That's simply not true. Some people are natural leaders. Others are incredible listeners. Some learn quickly. Others are persistent enough to master anything through practice. Some people are creative. Others are analytical. Some communicate with confidence. Others quietly solve problems behind the scenes. The world needs every one of those strengths. Imagine judging a fish because it can't climb a tree, or criticizing a bird because it can't swim like a dolphin. It sounds ridiculous. Yet many of us do exactly that to ourselves. We measure our worth using someone else's talents instead of appreciating our own. Stop asking why you aren't like someone else. Start discovering what makes you unique. Because your greatest strength may be something you've overlooked simply because it came naturally to you.
Chapter 12. Failure doesn't make you less valuable. Many comparisons begin after failure. You make a mistake. Someone else succeeds. Suddenly, your mind creates a story. They're winning. I'm losing. But failure is not a measure of your worth. It's part of learning. Every successful entrepreneur has experienced rejection. Every athlete has lost competitions. Every artist has created work they weren't proud of. Every accomplished person has failed, often many times. The difference is that they refuse to let failure define them. Instead of asking, "Why did I fail?" ask, "What is this experience trying to teach me?" That question transforms failure into growth. And growth is always more valuable than perfection.
Chapter 13. Your value isn't measured by other people's opinions. One of the most exhausting ways to live is constantly seeking approval. Trying to impress everyone. Trying to fit every expectation. Trying to avoid criticism at all costs. The truth is simple. No matter what you do, someone will disagree. Someone won't understand you. Someone won't like you. And that's okay. Your value doesn't increase because someone praises you. It doesn't decrease because someone criticizes you. Your worth isn't determined by likes, followers, income, appearance, or popularity. Those things may change throughout life. Your value as a human being does not. The sooner you stop handing your self-worth to other people's opinions, the freer you'll become. Chapter 14. Build a life that feels right for you. Sometimes comparison happens because we're chasing someone else's definition of success. Maybe society tells you success means wealth,
Maybe your friends believe it means fame. Maybe your family expects a certain career. But what if your definition is completely different? Maybe success for you means having peace of mind. Maybe it means spending more time with family. Maybe it's having meaningful work. Maybe it's helping other people. Maybe it's simply waking up each morning excited about your life. There is no universal definition of success. You have the right to create your own. Once you know what truly matters to you, comparing yourself to people living different lives becomes much less tempting. Because you're no longer playing their game. You're building your own.
Chapter 15. The only person you need to beat. Imagine meeting the version of yourself from 1 year ago. Would they be proud of who you've become? Would they notice how much you've learned? How much stronger you've become? How many obstacles you've overcome? That's the comparison that matters. Not with strangers, not with celebrities, not with influencers, not with coworkers, not even with your closest friends. Compare yourself only with your past self. Because every day gives you one new opportunity to grow, one new chance to improve, one new step toward becoming the person you want to be. That journey is the only competition worth joining.
Conclusion. The truth is, comparison will always exist, but it doesn't have to control your life. The moment you stop measuring your worth against everyone else, you create space for confidence, peace, gratitude, and real personal growth. Remember, your journey is unique. Your timeline is unique. Your strengths are unique. And your story is still being written. Don't waste today's chapter wishing you were living someone else's. Write a story that you're proud to call your own.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to like, subscribe to Summara, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Comment below which book you'd like us to summarize next. Keep learning, keep growing. See you in the next summary.